would show you how I make homemade hamburger helper. Now I think I got this recipe from, I want to say Noreen's Kitchen, but it could have been the Needy Homesteader too. But we gave it a try and my son absolutely loves it. So that's why I'm making this video about it, because he loves it. What you'll need is 2 to 3 cups of grated cheddar, onion, garlic, steak seasoning, hamburger meat, milk, elbow macaroni, beef stock, and house seasoning. Now, the beef stock, I have just a bouillon cube. If you make your own beef stock, all the better. So let's see how we do this. Okay, the first thing we want to do is go ahead and brown off our hamburger meat. And I use a bigger pan for this just because I think that it cooks better in a bigger pan. So I'm going to turn my pan on. I am going to bring it up to temperature. And when it's ready, I'll bring you back to put the hamburger meat in. Okay, I think my pan's come up to temperature, so I'm going to go ahead and add the ground beef. This was about a pound. It may have been a little over a pound of meat. This recipe is super easy to double and even triple. It would be a really good freezer thing, like to make a double batch of it and freeze half of it for a later time. But while this is browning off, we're going to go ahead and chop up the onion. So I'll bring you back and we'll get the onion going. Okay, so you will probably need I'd say a small onion, but if you like onion, add as much as you want. I am going to go ahead and put a pretty good fine dice on this because I don't, my husband and my son don't necessarily like biting into chunks of onion. So let me dice this up pretty good and continue to watch your hamburger meat. And when the onion is ready to go in and the hamburger's ready to drain, I'll bring you back. Okay, my hamburger is ready to be drained. I'm going to take it over to the sink and put it into a strainer and let it drain. And when I am ready for the onion to go in the pan, I will bring you back. Okay, my hamburger meat is draining. I'm going to go ahead and put the onion in and get them going. I did leave a little bit of the fat in there just to help the onions along. I'm looking at this and I'm going, this is not enough onion for me, but it's probably the right amount for my husband and my son, so I'll leave it alone. Get this going a little bit. When the hamburger is drained enough and it's ready to go back in the pan, we'll come back to the stove and then we'll add the garlic and the seasonings. I'll be back. My onion has been in the pan a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back because it is cast iron and I don't want to scorch anything. So here's the drained hamburger meat. Add that back in. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic. Garlic really is to your taste. The original recipe I think said 3 cloves, but put as much as you want in there. That mixing around. Now let's go ahead and get our seasoning in. And this is 1 tablespoon of steak seasoning, like Montreal steak seasoning. This is some that I made up, but I've used the stuff at the store too. It's fine. And I usually add a little bit more just because I don't plan on adding any salt to this. And I'm adding it now so it can help flavor the meat and everything. And some of the spices in there do need to bloom a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to add any salt because we are using beef stock. And I'm using a bouillon cube, which is plenty salty enough. So, when I think this is come far enough along, I will bring you back and we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, the hamburger and the onion and the seasonings have come along. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add the noodles to the pan and let them start soaking up some of the juice. I think this helps with keeping them from sticking together necessarily. I'm not sure. I think that's it though. I just know this is the process. And I added about 1 1/4 or 1 1/3 cups. If you intend to add more than that, you're going to have to adjust the liquid so it won't be too thick or be too runny. But there's a trick to it too. If mine turns out too runny, I'll show you the trick that I've learned. So we're just going to let these noodles cook for a few minutes with the meat and the onions. I'm sniffling because the onions are getting to me. So we will I'll bring you back when I'm ready to add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, the noodles have cooked long enough in the pan, so we're going to go ahead and add the milk, which that was 1 cup of milk. And we're going to add 1 cup of the beef broth. And we're going to go ahead and add all of our cheese. You could reserve some for topping, but I don't know if you really need to do that. But it's going to look like a hot mess for a few minutes, but just stay with it. Stir it and get the cheese incorporated. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring it to a bubble, and we're going to cover it for probably 15 minutes. Now, most people like their noodles al dente. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. I was not raised eating al dente noodles. I like my noodles mushy. So I probably will let mine go further than what you need. But I guess follow the directions on the package for that. I just wound up just tasting it every once in a while and seeing if they're as mushy as I like them. I'm just going to go ahead and add the rest of this cheese because I can't stand it. I need the more cheese in there. So like I said, that was probably about 2.5, maybe 3 cups of cheese. So we're going to go ahead and stir this and bring it to a bubble. When it comes to a bubble, I'll bring you back. Okay, it has come up to a bubble. And I need to remind you to go ahead and stir it because if you are using cast iron and it's maybe not as non-stick as you'd like it to be, the noodles will stick. But if you're using a non-stick pan, you should be fine. I'm going to cover this and give it about 10 minutes and we'll come back and check on it. Okay, my 10-minute timer just went off. So I'm going to stir this. I realize I told you guys 1 cup of beef broth. I was wrong. It is 2. I don't know why I said 1, but I'll put the correct recipe down in the description. I'm just having a time cooking tonight. We've all had those nights where we're just, we're off. And that's okay. It's going to taste just fine, and my family is going to love it. So this is not ready. I'm going to cover it back up and put the timer on for another 10 minutes. Go ahead and stir halfway through this 10 minutes because I don't want it to stick. So when I'm ready to check it again, I'll bring you back. Okay, my timer just went off again. So I'm going to set that over. And I did stir this halfway through, and it just, The noodles are not done enough for me, but go ahead and test yours at this point because you may like them al dente. I don't. I'm probably gonna go another 5 to 6 to 7 minutes on it. But if you were planning on freezing this at this point, I would go ahead and take the portion out that you were gonna freeze and go ahead and set it to the side because you don't want it to be all the way done when you put it in the freezer because when you go to reheat it, it will be super mushy. When I am ready to get this on the plate, I will bring you back. Okay, it's been about 5 more minutes and this is exactly where I like it. So I've turned off the heat and you can tell I don't need to thicken this up any at all. So I will get this on the plate and we'll bring you back. Okay, here it is on the plate. And tonight I am serving it with some cut up veggies and some corn. I also like to put a little Parmesan cheese on just for a little extra cheesiness. There it is, homemade cheeseburger mac. I hope you enjoy.